this, but Hearns trying to box his way out. Perhaps one of the best in middleweight history.
The one thing about Bob Arum is that, you know, he has this habit of thinking out loud. He probably says things that he regrets from time to time.
Bob Arum speak his mind? Never. Never. No, no, no.
He can get excitable. And I think Bob's best with the media because he's totally out of control.
Bob was never a shrinking violet. He would always say exactly what was on his mind, and it wasn't always the opportune moment.
I told him one time he's extraordinarily intelligent and sometimes he's not very smart, you know, because he'd get himself in more trouble just because he thinks out loud emotionally.
Somehow he gets away with it, and I think he loves the media and the media love him. And and I think they love him because he says what's right there on his chest, on his mind, and he just says it. Bob's not afraid of anyone.
Now, whether you're a fighter or a casino owner, you don't want to get in his way. The trick with Bob Arum is to be on his side. And when you're on his side, everything goes great.
If you're around Bob Arum, you got to understand he's more dangerous with his mouth than most fighters are with their fist.
Sometimes, in defending my position, I'm too outspoken and I offend people. And everybody's on me, my wife Lovey, people in my company, for having a big mouth. And that's unfortunate because it doesn't profit anybody to offend somebody else. But sometimes I do go overboard in defending my position. But when I believe I'm right in what I'm advocating, nobody, but nobody, is going to push me around. People always ask me, how did you end up as a boxing promoter? And based on where I came from, a section of Brooklyn called Crown Heights, and then I went ultimately to Harvard Law School and became part of the Justice Department during President Kennedy's administration. To end up as a boxing promoter was the furthest thing from my mind.
For me, he's one of my greatest friends without doubt, but I think he's one of the great characters, and I think he's done so much for boxing, and I think we're all very pleased that he decided not to continue being the Attorney General, but to get out there and promote these amazing fights.
A great football player named Jimmy Brown introduced me to Muhammad Ali and Elijah Muhammad, and I became Ali's lawyer and promoter. And the first fight that I ever promoted was the first boxing match that I ever saw in person, Muhammad Ali defending his title against George Chuvalo in Toronto, Canada, in March of '66. When you were promoting a fight from Muhammad Ali, you just let him go. The first major event in a casino was the Ali-Spinks fight, where we somehow convinced Baron Hilton that it was okay to bring that fight to the Las Vegas Hilton. And of all crazy things, Leon, who had about 8, 9 professional fights, was a gold medal winner, upset Ali to win the heavyweight championship of the world. And from that time on, the floodgates were open. The first major, huge event that took place was the Leonard Hearns fight. Then those 4 guys, Sugar Ray, Tommy Hearns, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and Roberto Duran had 9 matches against each other, 8 of which took place in Las Vegas on casino properties.
The first big fight, literally right after we opened the door, was Hagler-Hearns, which, as many people will refer to, the greatest first round in boxing they've ever seen.
Marvin with a good left hand. There's blood all over Marvin Hagler's
fight draws a crowd. It has been so since the days of ancient Rome and the Colosseum, I guess. The modern day version of that are Arum's fights.
Those were years where there was a tremendous synergy between the casino business and boxing.
Bob did a great thing for our city. He was among those who really created special events. Boxing were the great special events that made Las Vegas special. We became known as the boxing capital of the world, I think in good part because of Bob Arum and others like him that promoted those great boxing matches.
One thing that he loved, and he saw the magic of, the electricity of, if you will, was fighting outdoors at Caesar's Palace.
There was such magic in those events.
For this sport, for us to be able to do it, we've got to at least make the progress and open the stadiums to all races. That fight actually changed forever the integration of people in South Africa for all sporting events.
The one thing good about Bob Arum, he's going to always describe you as the best person he's ever known. And I, on the other hand, describe Bob Arum as the best human being I've ever met in boxing. What a wonderful guy. He's always willing to give you a second and third chance.
I thought that the great moments were when Don King and Bob Arum would be having, would be at different corners, you know, for their fighters. Those were unique moments in boxing history. They didn't pal around together, but they had enough good common sense to come to the table and put together a good event.
From a gaming standpoint, he has promoted, I think, the gaming industry. I cannot think of anybody that is more deserving of him being inducted in the Gaming Hall of Fame.
I'm happy to say, Bob, that no one that I know is more perfectly suited to be a member of the Gaming Hall of Fame than you are. So I'm happy for you. Congratulations from Elaine and I, and keep it up. We need the business.